When we're learning something new, it's always really exciting to be able to go fast in the beginning, to be able to do all kinds of new things, have all this new learning, and just start trying everything. But the reality is that going really fast in the beginning and doing as much as we can actually slow us down long term. In this video, I'm going to explain 3 reasons why going slow will actually be faster. I'm Callie, you're watching the weekly show here at CRK Training, and let's jump right into 3 reasons why going slower when you are learning a new skill, whether you're just starting in riding or you're working on a new foundation for a new discipline or something specific, really anything specific that you're looking to learn and improve on. Why going slow in the beginning will actually make you faster, and how this is true for both us in our riding as well as when we're training our horses too. So let's jump right in. First thing I want to go over is the 3 reasons why going slower will actually help you make faster progress later on in your riding. The first thing is confidence. So anytime that we can build more good experiences, even if they're just little small accomplishments and little small successes, when we build these good experiences, it's going to increase our confidence, which is going to make it easier to handle challenges later on. The second thing is, as we go slow, we can create this repetition of the skills that are going to be really important for higher level skills later on in our progress. So these are the little things, for example, the movement of how to move your body when you want the horse to slow down, when you want to move forward, when you want to turn. They can seem like such small things in the beginning, and you want to kind of just do these big movements and try to make the thing happen, make the horse, do what you're looking for. But if you miss building this foundation of the small skills, the little repetition, the little movements that are going to stay consistent from the very beginning all the way through really advanced skills, it takes in the beginning going really slowly and just practicing those small movements over and over and over until they really become muscle memory. So examples of this for riders, things that I practice a lot, are just the one that I mentioned earlier, asking for slowing down, being able to give the half halt, slow the horse down, stop the horse. Also steering, finding that ability to move our body without disrupting our balance or the horse's balance or pulling on the horse in order to steer. And the other is learning just to follow movement, to be able to go with the horse without grabbing the reins or tightening the legs in order to try to hold on. It's about developing kind of that motion, being able to stay free in our hip joints and move with the horse. So just examples of some of those skills that if we really create the repetition in the beginning, those are skills that are going to stick with us and that don't change even as our riding gets really advanced. The other thing that going slow does is it prevents bad habits from starting. It prevents the bad habits that we can easily develop to compensate when we are riding at a level that we're not quite prepared for. So for example, if you haven't spent the time really getting the foundational skills and you go out and you try to do something that you're not ready for. You go out on a trail ride and you're riding too fast for your skill level. You are jumping and you start jumping too high for your skill level. Or you ride a horse that's maybe very sensitive and very hot and is above what your level is. You can start developing some bad habits where you learn to do things like just hang on or grab a bunch of mane and pull yourself forward over the jumps, or you learn to just brace against the stirrups and lean back to try to slow your horse out on the trail. They're all things that might work in a moment, but if you keep doing them and you start to create this habit around them, they're going to really hold you back as you try to progress. So these are the 3 reasons that for our riding, going slower in the beginning will help you progress faster. You might feel like the first few months or even the first year, sometimes even the first few years, are just kind of this plateau, and then all of a sudden you're going to reach a point where you're just going to start to have that huge success, and your skill level, your confidence level, everything is going to just take a big jump upward, and you're going to be able to handle new challenges with so much more ease than if you're always trying to work up at this level where you're here and then you take a big drop down and then you try to work up and you take a big drop down because you're always working, trying to go too fast and do too much instead of really focusing on the foundation and focusing on the basics. And this is just as true for our horses in training as well. So when we can go really slow and build a good foundation for our horses in training, whether this is just taking those extra few months with a young horse to spend the time doing work on the ground and to really have them moving freely, understanding aids well under saddle before we're asking for bigger jumps or before we're asking for lateral work or flying changes or taking them out to the shows. It's going to build their confidence in their responses. It's going to build their confidence in the communication with the rider, which is going to make them more calm and more comfortable under saddle. The other thing it's going to do for a horse is the same. It's going to create this repetition of foundational skills, whether it's more behaviors like understanding the aid to stop and knowing to stop on a whoa cue or on that body cue for halt, or whether it's a movement pattern. It's learning that when we take contact with the reins, the horses learn to always soften through their jaw, to reach forward with their neck and to move in that long and low position. Or same for a horse, if it's preventing bad habits. So for example, with jumping, if we progress really slowly, we give them a chance to go through lots of grids and learn how to jump out of various spots and really get coordinated with where their feet are and how they push off for the jump. It's going to prevent all those bad habits of refusals and starting to rush fences, things that the horse also does to compensate for not really understanding what's being asked or by not knowing how to use their body well. Now it's your turn to share your experiences. I would love to hear about a skill that you really took your time on and that you went slow on in the beginning, and maybe it felt almost frustratingly slow, but then you found that once you had created that foundation, it made the next step so much easier. So go ahead and tell us about that. Or if you have the opposite story and you want to share about something that you pushed too hard, you went too fast, and then it ended up holding you back, or it ended up creating a habit that now you're kind of constantly working against or really having to go back to overcome, tell us about that as well. As always, if you're watching this anywhere besides crktrainingblog.com, that's where the best conversation is. Go there to leave your comments and watch many other free videos like this one.